Is that how it's supposed to work?
Yeah,
Like
I think it's
I don't know. Well, let's get started anyway. Zoe, nice to see you again. Where are you? Bring you up. Ah, oh, there you are. Zoe Annabelle, hyphenated, the limitless mind body specialist. It's been about 6 weeks since the last time we spoke, and I'm so glad to have you back on. I want to get stuck into this because there's so much for me to talk about and to
yep.
ask you about some of the questions. Firstly, how's your website going?
It's working and smoothly flowing right now. Yes, so I'm putting a lot of blogs out there so then people can see where I'm at.
I know you're on
And
fire when putting out the blogs. You're everywhere. You're on Facebook and Instagram, and you've got LinkedIn going on. It's just every day there's just something to see about you, and you're giving some great information. I do want to hit you up though with one quote that you put out. I need to read it out though, and then we'll talk
yeah,
about some of the issues that I think we can get into. You wrote this as part of one of your blogs, and I just need some clarification on what you meant here. Society is wired to keep you trapped in the trauma, the victim. What does that
mhm.
mean? Society is wired to keep you in that trauma. Talk to me more about that.
So I feel like in society we've had this massive influx of groups, and people are seeking a place, a sense of belonging. So we've had this massive influx of groups, which then further, it can be great initially, but I do see what's happening. It's further validating the story that the victim is, and the word victim does have a place in acute and things like that, but when it becomes chronic and the person becomes so attached to their story, then it's wired. And I know from experience from being in the groups, either being kicked out of the group because I've given a solution which they don't want to hear. So there is this, and in that as well, there's a lot there of like, I can save you, I can fix you. So even in that, there's this disempowerment. It's like, hey, I'm a savior, I'm going to fix you. And it's like, oh, help me. So, and there's this disempowerment that's going on. There is this, there's the other point of that when people start really breaking free of that victim, that then you're going to have rescuers, you're going to have enablers. So you've got this whole trauma drama triangle playing out with the rescue, the victim, and the perpetrator. And it's very easy when you're in the space of the victim or the rescuer to go, they're wrong, they did it. Really not recognizing that all playing out within that triangle are a reflection of one another. They're all playing a similar game. So there is this blame in society of shame or separation within groups, which then further creates a divide with, um, and creates a stronger ingrained identification with the false self or the personas, the masks, the dress up that someone holds on to.
See, what I want to talk about, because I think this is where you've just mentioned about some of the things that I'm really interested in. There is a very big divide between men and women. I think there is. I think the way the
Mm-hmm.
men handle things and the way that women handle things are two very different ways. So, for example, I want to talk to you about when, for example, men have a lot of men's groups. We can go to men's sheds. There's a group up here called Grab Life by the Balls. There's Marcus
Mm-hmm.
Mission. There's Blokes Help, or Blokes Advice. So we can go everywhere. We can go to the butcher shop. We'll have a chat to the butcher. Where do women go? Or do you get yourself into those women's groups and share your experience like men do when men get into a group and we just talk about stuff? Because we like talking stuff.
So over about 10 years, I've dipped my toe into the groups. As such, I've skipped around the outside of the women's groups. And at first I'll come along and I'm like, oh, they're shiny and, they're interested. But then, yeah, it never resonated with me. And I've written on this a lot. It never resonated with me because what I experienced was a lot of whinging, whining, complaining, and saying what's wrong with the masculine or what's wrong. And there was this avoidance of really leveling up and taking responsibility for their own um, self and their own life. So the women's groups have never really, I've either been kicked out of them or not really welcomed into them. So I've mostly sat with men, mostly sat with, and if men are sitting at the table in the pub, I will be the woman that will be sitting there, because I find there's so much, I learn so much, and we learn so much from one another. So I'm this real, I, I have zero tolerance for, if I hear some, a conversation and women are bitching and complaining, I will actually get up and walk away, because it keeps them looping, and it keeps validating that program that is playing out within them. And I find it is now a time, I've been saying this for a long time, I want to sit with men and women, because that's where you have real conversations. And for women to really sit and listen to the men without an opinion, without giving what they think, and really listen, because we can learn from one another.
From most of the men's groups that I've been in, one of the rules when you walk in is that there's no judgment. So you can speak the way that you want to speak, you can drop your F-bombs. If you have to talk about what it is that you want to talk about, there's no judgment. And I think what men tend to do is that we feel a lot more comfortable talking with a bunch of blokes, and we feel like that we're being infiltrated if a woman comes in, because now we've got to mind our P's and Q's. Now we've got to keep things a little bit cleaner. So those jokes that we used to tell, it's like, Gerald, don't tell that joke. And I go, why not? This is no judgment. And so then we go, okay, we won't tell that joke. We won't talk about that story. And so we feel like we've been infiltrated by the women who come in and want to maybe help change us. What is it about women that want to help change us?
Oh, the over controlling program, because yeah, well, firstly, I think that's why I can relate in men's groups, because, I have no issue with dropping an F-bomb, or, speaking however I want to speak in that moment with no judgment of myself. It comes from fear. It comes from, there's a lot of competitiveness when it comes to the feminine. I feel that women are very competitive with one another. And I think that goes back to, the days where women were sourcing the most virile man to be that, the provider for her. And I do think it goes back to those times that women are pretty savage, that they will undercut one another. And I think there's a lack of trust. There's a lack of trust. It could come from the father wound. It could come from wounds of abandonment, of rejection, and not actually of going on that inner journey of themselves, of really coming into really honoring their own inner masculine, really understanding their inner masculine, which is their own protector. They're not here to be saved or fixed, and we need to get beyond this. And men also need to stand up, and it's beautiful to hear that with men. And even in relationships, say, I'm not here to fix or save you. You're quite capable of doing it on you yourself. But that also doesn't mean that about, the over-controlling, it comes from fear. Comes from fear and not really surrendering into their feminine, into their messiness, because maybe they've not been met. But even that of not being met, that rejection that she may have felt, is an initiation of really learning to trust herself and to trust that aspect within herself. So we have these experiences as initiations to reflect back within ourselves what needs to come into a deeper level of acceptance, understanding, and healing.
Yeah.
Then you can truly start to see one another, because guaranteed women that are being over controlling, they or have unconsciously emasculated their partner. She actually wants to be ravished. She wants to be ravished, so she push and push and push until he roars, and basically she feels that masculine presence.
Help me out with this one here. Help me out with this body positivity movement that's happening. So let me give you an example. If I jump onto Instagram right now and I was to have a look at some photos of women, and they're empowering themselves, they're right into themselves, and they go, look at me,
Yeah.
here I am in a beautiful bikini, and they are, they are unhealthy. I would call an unhealthy weight. And on the other side, you might have a bloke. So like for myself, for example, I might head down to the beach. I'll take my shirt off and I go, hey, Podgy, you're putting on a bit of weight there, brother. Time to hit the gym, mate. Men, men do that to men. So men will call out other men and go, like your love handles, mate. You worked on hard on that. Had a few burgers last night. Been on the grog last night, I can tell. Whereas what women will do is that they go, so beautiful, so proud, so strong, so brave. And if I was walking down the beach and I'm showing my love handles and my man boobs out, and somebody said to me, hey, mate, so brave, so beautiful, so strong, I'd turn around and I'd say, you're blind. Yeah, it's something. So help me out. Is it a cover up? Because I'm not saying that being big and voluptuous is bad. I'm thinking about health, because it
Yeah.
is unhealthy to be that size, but yet they'll cover it up by going, I'm actually not unhealthy. I'm really healthy and I eat healthy. I do. Help me out. Why do they do that?
Oh, it's almost like body dysmorphia has gone in the other direction. It's not healthy. I think it's really unhealthy as well to, if your friend or someone asks your opinion and they ask your opinion, be honest.
Oh,
Be honest. Here's an example.
well, here we go.
I I put on I tried on a dress the other week, right? I went and put the dress and I took pictures of it and I was like, oh, it's a great dress. I love it. The belt, anyway, it's obviously too big, but I like the dress. So I sent the picture to my mum. I got an honest answer from my mum, a girlfriend that I sent it to. Oh, it looks great. You lay by it. Yeah. So I lay by it, and then my mum was like, actually, that's way too big on you. You can see it in your back. So she was honest, and I was like, thank you. It does actually. So I went and took it back. But yeah, a girlfriend had told me, oh no, it looks great. Why do women do that?
Yeah.
Because they may feel uncomfortable in their own body. They don't, maybe there's an aspect they don't want you to look good. I don't know. It's like it's lying, but they're lying to themselves, and I'll call it out. Why I do, and there's this even this extra plus size. I saw this picture years ago of this yoga teacher. She's huge, huge, and it's this. I do, I think acceptance comes down to self. Big is definitely better, small is definitely better. You need to be comfortable in your own skin and in your own flesh. But I do feel it's gone into let's accept everyone, where it's not about that. It's learning to accept yourself. But in that, we've got a lot of, it's fake. It's fake. It's false. If someone is telling you that you look great, or like, oh yeah, your butt looks amazing in that. And obviously your butt does not look amazing in that. It's hanging out. That girl does not have your back. She does not have your back. She's like, and it's like there's that undercutting of one another.
Okay, okay. I can see.
And
I
you
can see.
have to wonder why there's not that much trust within women, because if you're not going to have the lady balls to be honest and just say, hey, um, why that actually doesn't really compliment you. Let's look at something that really compliments and brings brings out, yeah, it's a fine line because it's a deeply entrenched emotional one as well, because people will go into self-protect with this and
Because if somebody was to say to me, um, like, say you, for example, you put on that outfit and you turn to me and your mother is saying that's way too big. You got your girlfriend saying, oh, it looks fantastic on you. And then you ask me, you don't know me from Adam, but you say,
yeah.
Gerald, I just want to ask, you live a million miles away, so I'm not going to get offended. What do you think of my outfit? In my head, I'm going, looks horrible. Like in my head, I go, that looks horrible. Like seriously, did you not have a mirror? Do you need glasses? Are you that blind? That's in my head, right? Because men think from up here sometimes. Sometimes. But then the other part of me says, if you haven't got anything nice to say, don't say anything. So
Mm-hmm.
then I will turn around and go, how does it make you feel? And
Mm-hmm.
you'll go, I kind of like it. I go, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
And yet what
Yeah.
you've got now is you've got validation that you
Mm-hmm.
know you feel good. You know
Mm-hmm.
that I'm not going to hurt you. But
Mm-hmm.
really, I'm thinking, I hope you never wear it anywhere
You got a
because
sack on.
because you got a sack on. But so why? What would be? So maybe I'm asking for advice here. What would be appropriate advice for men to be able to say, honey, I love you that much that I think you're a wonderful person. I think you can make other choices. I think you can make a better choice than we. See, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, just like, oh, just say, nah, nah, that's not working. See, I love to,
I love
I
you for who you are, but it's not
so
working.
that just, nah, nah, definitely not. Just be honest. Just say no. Like I actually,
Women don't even do that to women. So if women won't do it to women, there's no hope in hell that a man is going to get away with being honest.
It's
no, but that's what we need in relationships. We need that in relationships because we're done with this, and that's why there's dishonesty in relationships and loss of integrity and loss of respect because one may be walking around on eggshells, afraid of what they're going to say because the other person's like, ready to pounce on them because they their nervous system is wild. It's already in this state on the back foot of oh, I'm going to fight. I need to protect myself. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, just be honest. Like, I love honesty. I had that recently and I loved it. And you know what I love? I don't care how this comes out. Like, I love for my partner and go, choose something you want me to wear. I actually find that a massive turn on. I think that's really endearing to say, what would you like me to wear? Now, some women may go, oh, that's really sexist. Well, I actually don't think. I think it's really beautiful to relinquish all control, relinquish it,
Yeah,
let it all go, really melt into the feminine and go, hey, there's something really sexy about that. What would you like me to wear? And then,
I like that.
yeah, it's really beautiful. So I've been passing this on to my sons as well. When I've had an event to go at their school, I'll say to my youngest, I'll like, come up and have a look at my wardrobe. I want you to choose what you would like me to wear because it's something I want to instill in there. So there's something really sexy about that. And a man being unafraid to, or
Yeah, but
just going along and not saying what he wants to say.
I don't mind that idea. So, for example, if so, how old's your youngest? How old's your youngest?
He's
15. Well, okay, so he's of age where he might turn around and go, you know what? I want you, Mum, to look like Wonder Woman. That's what I want you to. I want you to wear something. Don't laugh because the mindset might be he's just finished gaming or something or watching a movie, and then if you ask your partner, he might turn around and go, I want you to look like Xena, Xena the warrior, and
I can do both of them very easily.
yes, uh, I
Can you
think it's
tell?
I think it's hard. I think it's just hard for men and women to relate. Like I would like honesty. I would just like to be able to turn around and go, it's not working for you. Like it's because
Yeah.
then, but then
Or it's not working for me. It's like, it's like,
oh
when people go
yes,
on, they do it for themselves, because
oh
you do.
yeah,
I put on clothes for myself because they make me feel good. And as well, there's another aspect of, I want to, shine in my, for that beautiful man that I'm with, my partner. So it's like, it's,
I love this. I love this because
Yeah, I think it's great, and I think we need more of that. That's been lost in society. You've got people going out wearing the most weirdest, wackiest outfits, and it's almost like the weirdest and wackiest just so you can get attention. And I'm like, each to your own, wear your own free expression.
yeah.
And also as well, like when you have that self-acceptance in yourself,
Mm.
self-acceptance and self-love in yourself, unconditional love, you don't get offended by by someone that you love or those you love, your friends that you love and respect, being truthful with
So is it
because
okay then if I was just going to say, is it okay then that the next time I'm courting
Yeah.
and I would say to a woman, if she says to me, she says, how do you think this looks? And I go, it's not working for me. Right?
take it off.
It's not working for me. I'm afraid of the follow-up questions. Why? What's wrong with it?
Well, here's the thing. Why can't you respond to what is why are they asking? Because so here's the tricky one. So
Yes.
it's like, are you asking because you're like, hey, you haven't told me that I'm beautiful today, which is seeking external validation, which is ugly when someone's doing that. And it's coming from an expectation. So it's a why are they asking? So you could actually go, well, I'm curious, why are you asking me?
Mm, I'm curious.
How do you feel in it? Like you said, again, like open up, like a curiosity,
Look, I'm
not
fine.
a
See, we could do a full role reversal here. I could be the. Can we do that for a minute? Let me be
Yeah,
the
we
woman.
can.
Let me be the woman for a minute, and I want you to play
okay,
the. And I want you to play the man. So all of a sudden
Okay.
now I turn to you. So you're the man. Remember. So you're
Mm-hmm.
Zohan, and I'm Geraldine.
Oh,
Okay.
Donald
And I
still
turn
likes
around and I
football
say to you, "Hi Zohan." I go, "Hi Zohan. How do you? How does my outfit look?"
Oh, Gerard, how do
Geraldine,
you
please.
feel? Gerald,
Geraldine.
okay, start again.
So
okay.
hey Zohan, what do you like my new outfit? Just bought it. It's hard. It's hard. And you're a woman who's supposed to be able to give the man the advice. So now you're playing the man. You don't even know how to play the man properly. So honestly,
Well, how, yeah, like,
yeah, how does it
how's,
make me feel?
oh,
I'm
how,
going to play
how,
woman, right? What are you
Gerald,
going to say?
how does it make you feel?
Well, that's why I'm asking you. I want you to tell me what I look like in it because I love it.
How's the silence working for you?
God, it is so
I
awkward.
think, but I think, like, in all seriousness, I think, there needs to be that autonomy in self, or because that's a game. It's
Yeah,
a game. It's the beginning of a game. And people unconsciously start playing games with one another, relationship. That is a form of manipulation. That, hey, hey, Geraldine, I'm just going to be like,
yeah,
gay Zozo. Like, do you like my dress? Why not come into it and say nothing about the dress and just own your sass? Own
yeah,
your sass and who you are with no expectation and notice what happens in your relationship. Not like, oh, because this is where people um, continue their prolonged suffering. They continue their prolonged suffering because if you have to constantly seek external validation from somebody else, then you're stuck in your head. You're not being in your essence. Put something on that you feel good in. That it's just like you didn't care, even if someone said to you, "I don't like what you're wearing." It's like, well, I feel good in it. Actually, this is working for me because when you own it and um, when you're embodied in your own essence of who you are,
mm,
then the rest falls away. And then that is sexy. And then very naturally, I would say to Geraldine, wow, Geraldine, you look amazing in that. That dress looks super hot on you. Sorry, I'm just visualizing the dress, but
yeah.
yeah, that looks super hot on you. But maybe, I'd, work on clearing this up a little bit.
Yeah. Why? What are you saying? I think the other thing is that I think this would be a great social experiment. I really would. I would love it for women to be able to turn to their partner wearing something like a clown suit, like just something that is just that doesn't match. A
Oh,
whole
you haven't
striped up.
seen my socks, have you?
Oh, socks are okay. I like really wild socks. Show me your socks.
Oh no, I haven't got them on
Oh,
today.
yeah.
I started wearing like stripy socks to the knees,
Yeah.
over my leggings, and yeah, the amount of people that are like, loving the socks.
But that's yeah, but there's socks. I mean, it's supposed to be what's like men wearing crazy wild ties. I think that's just a little bit of
I
oh look at me going a bit outside myself.
I think what we've got in society now, we only have to look at, I think it was Fashion Week in Paris a few
Yeah.
years ago, and I actually put a post up on LinkedIn that went absolutely nuts. It was the post I got the most views on, but people got offended by it. But it was ridiculous. It was like, that's not fashion, that's just people dressed up. It was ridiculous. People like strapped like bondage to one another and
Yeah, yeah.
walking out on the catwalk, and it's like, that's not functional. But I think we've gone so far the other way of this everybody's special, give everyone a medal,
Yeah.
of this whole inclusion thing that we have really whacked out, that to really stand, that people are feeling this to stand out, I have to be really like, um, yeah,
You know what
it's,
I'd like
it's,
to try? I would really love to try a bit of a social experiment where a woman would who trust their partner 100% just wear something that's a little bit off that they would never wear, like seriously would never wear, but go to the partner and say, what do you think of this? And the partner, I guarantee, will turn around and go, oh, I like it. I like it. Turn around. Turn around. Yeah, looks amazing. Looks amazing. Like seriously, wow, that's hot. And then go out, right? And him knowing that he's just lied to her, and then go out and listen to her girlfriend say exactly the same thing. Or I wonder if the guy who would be honest turns around and says, really, it's not you. I don't know what was going on last night. You know, I don't know what you're smoking, what psychedelics you're taking, but that should not be ever worn out in public. And then watch her go out in public with it and watch her girlfriends turn around and go, oh my God, that is so you. But they do that? They do. Yeah. So
Does he
is
want
this saying
that?
true? Is this saying true? Women dress for women, not for men.
yeah, to compete. I think a lot of women dress, and you only have to see that now. It's like, can you get your boobs out anymore? Can you, it's gone in. I don't know. It's like this. Um, yeah, they. What I, I, I don't. Have I dressed to compete against women? Yeah, sure. In the past, it's like a thing that's such in society, like why do women, why women having so much work done on their face with pumped up um, lips and pumped up bottoms, which men actually find super unattractive. And it's like, or their faces are like this because they've had so much Botox that
Yeah.
their face doesn't crinkle or move or have any expression when they're having intimate moments. So I think there's this misconception and this, again, it's that attachment to that false persona, that false identity, the imposter self that's
Yeah.
constantly competing with what's out there. And I think that's going to increase. It's increasing in noise.
It's interesting when you see men do the what is it the facial augmentation. So they'll have a facelift or they'll do something like Paul Hogan, you know, great Aussie, great comedian, you know, a great representative for Australia. He's getting a bit older now. I think he's in his 80s, but I think about 10 years ago he had some work done on his face. And you just look at him and you just go, why the hell would you do that? Like, you don't look like Paul Hogan anymore. You're not going to be younger. You'll never be a 50-year-old again in your prime. You look at Robert Redford. I think he did the same thing. And you just go, what the hell's happened to you, man? You're one of the best looking guys in the world. And now all of a sudden you've put that crap into you. But yet if a woman does it, a woman will see it for that youthfulness. But they don't look youthful. They don't. I think women think they look youthful, but, and I'm only speaking from my opinion only, I look at someone, I just go, that's not real. Like
No,
what you're doing is not real. Those big lips, those big sunken eyes, the face like you said that looks like that. Why can't women, like some men, just go natural? This is me.
it's like aging gracefully.
Why can't they do that?
It's so natural. I still, I love to put makeup on. I love to.
Yeah.
So I'm not really, I'm going to go totally natural and grow my arm hair and look hair. Like for me, I don't know, it doesn't really resonate. I like my, certain areas of my body being smooth, and I like to express myself through my makeup and different things like that, but not having, it's about aging gracefully. And it's, the skin is constantly going to change, and you can always tell it's the inner radiance of the individual. It's their connection with their spirit. And what we have in society, we have a lot of like our life force, our energy, our spirit that flows through our body gives us that radiance, right? And gives us that unique spark that we share with the world, or the dullness, because the spirit doesn't want to be in the body, because there's unaddressed issues in the body, the mind. So we've got almost like these plastic. It's almost like what was the show? Stingray. Remember Stingray?
No.
When they were like, no, you don't remember Stingray? Okay, I'll scrap that then. But they're like, yeah, it's like the expression that there's face that doesn't even move, and it's not real, and it's sad because you can see they're further imprisoning, further creating more bondage within their skin and their tissues, that on the inside it's just like this deadness on the inside. There's no life.
Do you think some women have this fear that, what the man will do is that the man will
Yeah.
always seek a younger version of her, and then the woman might think, well, if he's looking at younger women, maybe I should be younger. But the reality is that you could look 20 years younger, but you're still going to be Zoe, psychologically, mentally, physically, in a way. You're still going to be Zoe, and that is not going to change. The exterior might look a little bit different, but your internal self, your spiritual self, will always be the same.
Yeah, I do feel there's a lot of fear in women, and that's one thing that can play out. There's something really beautiful and endearing when a woman and a man really owns who they are in themselves with that full acceptance. And one thing I've found from, for example, the meditation, which I've now been practicing 12 years, it does reverse the age clock, the body clock. So where I looked in myself from pictures, 39, there was this numbness and almost like this deadness in my eyes of not really being connected. And over the years from implementing it, you can always tell when I've just after my practice, there's this radiance and there's this youthfulness. So beyond the age, beyond the skin, yes, there is a way to nourish that inner glow, that eternal, infinite light within. And when you actually tap into that and your radiance, then that's attractive. People are drawn to that, men, women, and anyone can learn to do it, no matter their age. And I think from the inside out, not the outside in. And that's when so many people are lost in society. It's like, I'm just going to change this. And there's nothing wrong with exfoliating your skin. There's nothing wrong with, assisting removing the dead layers. So, like cleaning windows, we're constantly clearing the cloudiness through our thoughts, our emotions, through patterns and programs. And when we're doing that, we're clearing the lens or clearing the facets of the diamond. So then that which is within can truly radiate out. Because that to me is beauty, and it's about aging gracefully. and with beauty.
Do
And
you, go on.
you see people, 100, and they have that, they're connected with their passion and their purpose, and they're glowing from the inside out. And it's beyond, you don't even see their wrinkles, you don't see any of that, and
Yeah.
like I have loose skin on my belly, and, I'm slim, I'm toned, but yet, when I lean forward, there's little loose skin on my belly, because I've nourished two beautiful pregnancies into two
Yeah.
humans. I think we need to be compassionate with ourselves and with one another. If we're so focused on that of, oh, look at that imperfection and that, you're always going to find something else. Like, see the way someone's showing up in who they are, and it's a connection of mind, body, spirit.
There's a phase that everyone goes through, and I'll talk about men's phases that we go through. So, as a teenager, we're coming into ourselves, and we'll start either going goth, or we become the long-haired surfer, or we be the embodiment of a hero that we've looked at, or somebody that we've liked. In our 20s, we get into this. All right, I'm either going to be in the corporate world, I'm going to be in the sporting world, but I'm going to dress appropriately. 30s and 40s, we start to grow up. We start to wear, maybe, here we go, like a t-shirt, and we might wear some boardies, and we'll wear some thongs. Then as you start getting into the 60s and 70s, what men tend to do is that men will wear long socks, sandals, they'll wear their pants up around above their belly button with their belt here, and then they'll wear some sort of Hawaiian shirt that's way too big for them, with maybe a cap on. I know you've got a picture of that in your head now, but they're the phases that men seem to go through. What are the phases? What are the phases that women go through? And speak generally. Be hyperbolic about it. Don't just
Yeah,
sell.
I have to speak generally because
Yeah.
I'm never going to fit into that.
Neither will I. I'm never going to wear long
Yeah,
socks with sandals on.
no.
And I'm German.
So you go and like throw your towel on the deck chair to like
Yes.
yeah,
I'll put it on at 7 o'clock in the morning, and then I'll go and lay on it at
Respect.
2 o'clock in the afternoon. Yes.
yeah, respect.
There's
But
phases.
that's like commitment.
Yes. So
Um,
what are the phases women go through?
well, I guess really,
Because there is a phase. Now let me go to men have the long socks and the sandals and the oversized Hawaiian shirt with a cap on. Okay. I tend to see women. What's that brand that there's a lot of women seem to be wearing over 50s? The outfit costs like $7,000, $7,000 or $8,000, and it looks like a muumuu.
A moo.
Yeah, they kind of, but it's a really famous brand. There's people now throwing things at the screen, going, "It's that." It's a
what's a
brand,
memory?
a
A
muumuu,
sack.
a
It's a
sack.
memory.
Well, a muumuu is. Have you never been to Vila or Vanuatu or Fiji? They wear those
No.
long. Well, it's
Oh,
oh. I wish I had a camera. I'd put it up. Wish I've just got one in the in the cupboard over here. I should just. But
Go on
there's
and
a phase that both men and women get into, and women start to, their hair changes, a colour changes in their hair. It goes from beautiful blonde to purple, and
I think we go through, I think women will go through different phases. I think when they're younger, it's very much, it could be conditioning of their parents, what their parents are dressing in them from, the whole princess
Mm,
to very much like the tomboy.
mm,
And then, as you go into teenagers, you start trying to find your identification of who you are. Um, the could be goth, it could be punk, it could be, well, Madonna was a big one as well. Like when I was growing up, it's a
yeah,
big influence of Bengals, and I guess there's still something there going on. Um, and that really that expression of who you are sexually and finding yourself in a world of trying to find out where you fit in. So I think that's where groups come in. People find themselves, um, or they flip. Maybe they don't fit into one thing. So I know, it's hard. What else do I with women? I think there's a big, at the moment, like with, there's a big emphasis later teens going into early 20s, big emphasis on fitness. But again, it's gone into like oversized bottoms.
Yeah.
Like a real, like amazing, but it's like this just full on over emphasis on, and it's great. It's great to see that strength coming through, but there's that, um, and that's a process of going through. It's great to see, them taking care of themselves and having healthier bodies. But I do feel there's a lot of it's all about this and lips. I do see that a lot in the 20s. Looking at girls growing up now, there's this huge emphasis on like this and plumped up. And it's interesting when I go back through pictures, it's like now you've got so much that can be photoshopped and stuff like that. It's like, wow, what's going on with that? Like, so now, like, it's just this, they almost like they're growing up so fast into, gosh, I'm not doing very well here on the women.
That's okay. It's just something. It was just something I'd throw in there, which is a difference between the men and the women. So
I think there's a big the big changes, women coming into womanhood, going through, their period and coming into womanhood. And then, if you look at the three phases of the goddess, then they come into the goddess, the childbearing, and, that the nourishing and the nurturing. So women do go, I think they go through a lot of cycles, which also related to their menstrual cycle and that they, and then they go through the changes of the perimenopausal, which is what I'm going through at the moment, apparently. But I don't actually feel any symptoms from that.
So when you say apparently, is that because what someone
well,
said, like a specialist?
no, no, I've not been to see a specialist about it. I think we're our own specialists with, our own embodied wisdom of tuning in with what's going on in our body. But, over the last 3 years, your regular menstrual cycle that you would normally have, all of a sudden it's like, 4 months, and then you have a bleed, and then it's 3 months or 4 months. And I remember for the first 2-3 years, I was like, oh, I must be downloading codes for the collective, and I must be channeling codes because it's like my body's feeling fertile with all this new information. But looking back on it, and I was like, oh, my body was going through perimenopausal, which is still going through. So it's that transition from the phase of the fertility. You're still fertile through perimenopausal, but your menstrual cycle is going through changes. But I haven't noticed any changes in my body. Haven't noticed any hormonal changes in my body shape. And I put that down to because of the integration of my daily practices to manage my nervous system. Regulating, self-regulating, constantly being in that balance and not having any tools or daily practices to manage my emotions. So I think that's a big thing within women. It's the ranges of emotions we get to experience, also related to hormones and things like that. And I think we are given this beautiful opportunity where we can learn how to balance and really come into a grounded, centered space, no matter what our emotions are doing, and not being controlled by our emotions.
Oh.
Rather than blaming, and this is going to be a big one, I may have things thrown at me, lipsticks thrown at me, but blaming your actions on that was my emotions, that was my hormones. I snapped at you because of my hormones. No, bullshit. There is a way you may snap because of the result of that, and there's a level of, hey, well, and it's not about creating blame, but it's about taking some level of responsibility of, hey, well, how can I learn how to manage my emotions? How can I learn to have gratitude for these amazing range of emotions that I get to experience, so I can come into that grounded, present, open space and in my vulnerability, and this, if you feel emotional, allowing that to be seen without putting a label on it or making it or saying, oh, it's because of this. Just say, hey, I feel vulnerable right now and this is what I need. And this is what women are doing. They're not really saying what they need. And not from a place of neediness, but hey, I'm not feeling in my usual sparkly self. And I think it's really beautiful for the masculine to hear that as well. Because I think a lot of women, you've done it yourself, and there is a level of that, and there's another level of vulnerability that comes through of when you start leaning into the masculine and a man that's really present with you, to know that you don't have to do it on your own. So it's yes, learning how to do it yourself, and also as well knowing that you don't have to do it by yourself, and it's nice to be vulnerable and to allow space so the masculine can truly step up.
Give us your website so that people can jump on there and jump into your programs and do the stuff with you. What's it called again?
Zoe-Anna.com.
It's very simple, isn't it? And I noticed that you got a bit of a chat going on there too. It's like, what do you want to talk about? You pop up there in the little corner and people can just type in and go, hi Zoe, can you help me with this? And then you can help them out with all that sort of stuff. But it's not only for women, it's for men and women, which is what I love. Yes. It's not only women, for the both. That's so cool. Zoe, I love talking to you. What are we going to talk about next time we get you on? God.
I don't know, choose the topic.
Pick a topic and go for it. I love this one. The difference between men and women. Huge difference.
Huge difference.
It is. It's huge different. I'm going to have you back on there. You know that. And
I'd love
thank you. And bless you. Thank you so much for being a great sport and having some fun with me tonight anyway, or today with this
Thank
topic.
you, Gerald. And
All right, have a good
Geraldine.
one.